Footage has emerged proving WNBA referees definitely have an agenda against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana.
Newly released footage shows WNBA referees blatantly ignoring Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in what many viewers are calling one of the most disrespectful displays of officiating this season. The clips are so striking that even neutral fans are demanding accountability. At this point, critics say this goes beyond simple human error. They believe it reflects a serious failure in fairness that the league can't ignore. What's the most obvious case of referee bias you've ever seen in sports?
Some controversy on that last play, no doubt about it. In my opinion, it looked like Natasha Cloud probably fouled her. It was not called. The referees love to swallow.
I've covered basketball for years and thought I had witnessed every type of officiating controversy imaginable. But what unfolded during the Fever versus Liberty matchup wasn't just questionable refereeing. It felt like a complete breakdown of competitive integrity, happening in full view of a national audience.
See on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what do you think of your team's late game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that
The circulating footage raises major concerns about whether those officials should be assigned to professional games at all. Cameras captured 3 referees in striped uniforms appearing to turn away from Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and the entire Fever bench as they tried to get clarification on what looked like clear missed calls. The optics alone have fueled intense debate among fans and analysts. Before diving deeper into that revealing moment, it's important to understand the context. The Fever entered that contest prepared to battle the New York Liberty, but many believe they were also bracing for what has started to feel like a troubling pattern in officiating. Some supporters argue that the calls, or lack of calls, have consistently put Clark and her teammates at a disadvantage.
The refs messed up 3 calls in the last 3 possessions of this game. First, Dewana Bonner gets absolutely destroyed, no call. And then Sabrina Ionescu makes the contact. And this is the worst one. There's 1 foul. There's 2 fouls. Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm.
The statistics from that night only intensified the conversation. A minus 31 free throw differential is hard to overlook, especially for a team attacking the paint as aggressively as Indiana did. Head coach Stephanie White, typically measured in her public comments, openly expressed frustration. Numbers alone don't prove intent, but such a large gap inevitably raises questions.
Talked about the way that the game has been officiated for you guys. How did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. And then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path.
White's post-game comments were telling. She didn't just mention the free throw discrepancy, she called it egregious and said the disrespect toward their team has been pretty unbelievable. When a professional coach starts using words like that, you know things have gone beyond the normal ebb and flow of officiating mistakes. Here's what makes this whole situation even more maddening. The WNBA spent the entire offseason.
White's post-game remarks carried weight. She described the free throw disparity as egregious and said the level of disrespect toward her team felt unbelievable. When a seasoned coach speaks that candidly, it signals more than routine dissatisfaction. What makes the situation even more puzzling is that the WNBA emphasized officiating improvements throughout the offseason. The league introduced evaluation programs, stressed accountability, and promised a higher standard of consistency. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert publicly reinforced that commitment. Yet performances like this leave fans wondering where those improvements are visible. Many viewers felt the officiating that night didn't just fall short. it appeared noticeably one-sided. And the most compelling evidence fueling the backlash came from the video clips that quickly spread online. Footage recorded by a fan during a pivotal stretch of the game has only intensified the debate. As Fever players attempted to speak with the officials about apparent missed calls, all three referees appeared to turn away at the same time, offering no acknowledgement. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull were left trying to get answers, but the officials seemed uninterested in engaging. To many viewers, that didn't look like a brief lapse in awareness. It looked deliberate. Professional athletes were attempting to have a composed discussion, and the optics suggested they were being dismissed outright. Seeing it unfold on video is jarring. Three referees, entrusted with protecting the integrity of the contest, visibly disengaging from players seeking clarification is not what fans expect at the highest level of women's basketball. That kind of body language might be brushed off in a lower-level setting, but in a premier professional league, it raises serious concerns about professionalism and accountability. And the controversy extended far beyond that moment. Throughout the matchup, there were multiple instances where contact involving Fever players appeared to go uncalled. Replay angles showed hands on jerseys and arms during drives, yet whistles remained silent. Physical play in the paint that often results in trips to the free throw line seemed to be treated as incidental when it affected Clark or her teammates. The most disputed sequence came in the closing seconds. With just 1 second remaining, Clark attempted to break free for what could have been a game-winning shot. Video shows her being grabbed and impeded as she tried to create space. In many games, similar contact would at least prompt a review. Instead, no whistle came, and New York secured the victory. For Fever supporters, that non-call became the defining image of the night. What further fueled frustration was the contrast on the opposite end of the floor. Liberty players were awarded fouls on minimal contact, while Indiana absorbed far more physical defense without similar calls. The disparity wasn't subtle. It shaped the rhythm of the game and left fans questioning consistency. Statistics added another layer to the argument. Indiana's free throw attempts did not align with their aggressive style of play or the amount of contact observed on drives. Meanwhile, their opponents reached the line on plays that, in other contexts, might have continued uninterrupted. Numbers alone cannot prove intent, but they reinforced what many viewers believed they were seeing. This controversy also fits into a broader narrative. During Clark's second professional season, critics have pointed to what they view as a pattern of allowing defenders to be more physical with her than with other high-profile players. Whether coincidence or inconsistency, the perception is growing, and perception can be powerful. The larger concern is the league's reputation. The WNBA is experiencing record-breaking growth in ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales, with Clark playing a significant role in that surge of attention. When officiating becomes the headline instead of the competition itself, it risks overshadowing the product at a crucial moment of expansion. From a business standpoint, credibility is everything. With more eyes on the league than ever before, maintaining trust in fair competition is essential. If fans begin to believe outcomes are influenced more by officiating than performance, confidence erodes quickly. So far, the league's public responses have emphasized support for officials and a commitment to integrity. However, critics argue that general statements are not enough when specific incidents circulate widely online. Around the league, other coaches have hinted at concerns about consistency, even if they stop short of direct accusations. Players, too, have voiced frustration on social media, signaling that dissatisfaction is not limited to one locker room. Perhaps most troubling to some observers is the perception that there will be no accountability. The video of referees appearing to ignore Fever players has been interpreted as dismissive and overly confident, as though consequences are unlikely. Whether that perception is fair or not, it underscores the urgency of addressing these concerns transparently. The path forward is clear but requires decisive action. The league must review the documented sequences, communicate findings openly, and reinforce standards through improved evaluation and accountability systems. Protecting one team or one star is not the issue. Safeguarding competitive integrity across the board is, because in professional sports, credibility is everything. Once fans start questioning fairness, rebuilding trust becomes far more difficult. When the investment that fans pour into a sport begins to feel threatened by questionable officiating, frustration is inevitable. Supporters see it. Players feel it. Coaches talk about it. The only group that appears slow to respond, critics argue, is the league leadership with the authority to step in. The real issue isn't about defending a single star or one franchise. It's about safeguarding the credibility of women's professional basketball during a period of historic growth. The WNBA has built remarkable momentum, and it cannot risk letting controversy over officiating stall that progress. Looking more closely at that particular game, the concerns go deeper than the headlines suggest. A breakdown of the individual sequences left many viewers convinced that the inconsistency was impossible to ignore. If the stakes weren't so significant, some of the contrasts might almost seem unbelievable. The opening quarter immediately raised eyebrows. Caitlin Clark attacked the rim multiple times, appearing to absorb contact that often results in free throws. No whistle came. At the other end, Liberty players received calls on far lighter contact. The difference was noticeable enough that even the broadcast commentators cautiously questioned the officiating, something announcers rarely do in real time. In the second quarter, tensions escalated. Technical and flagrant fouls were assessed against Fever players for reactions that might typically earn only a warning. When Clark showed visible frustration, she was penalized quickly. Comparable displays from Liberty players did not draw the same response. By halftime, boos echoed through the arena as fans expressed their dissatisfaction. The free throw gap was already substantial, and the game was only halfway complete. Head coach Stephanie White reportedly sought clarification during the break, but her concerns did little to shift the tone. The third quarter delivered perhaps the most disputed sequence. Clark drove to the basket, took heavy contact, and fell to the floor. Replays appeared to show contact to her shooting arm and upper body, yet play continued without a call. Moments later, a Liberty player drove into the lane, encountered minimal contact, and was awarded free throws. The contrast between the two possessions intensified the perception that different standards were being applied. Then came the fourth quarter and the now viral footage. With the outcome hanging in the balance and missed calls mounting, Clark and her teammates attempted to speak with the officials about the inconsistencies. Instead of engaging, the three referees appeared to turn away simultaneously. The body language became symbolic for many viewers, an image that suggested dismissal rather than dialogue. Whether intentional or not, the optics were damaging. As the closing seconds ticked away, the controversy peaked. On the final possession, Clark tried to free herself for a potential tying or game-winning attempt. Video shows visible contact as she fought for position, but again no whistle sounded. Time expired, and the Liberty secured the win. For critics, that sequence encapsulated the frustration of the entire night. The aftermath has only added to the scrutiny. The league has reiterated its support for officials and commitment to integrity, yet some fans believe stronger transparency is needed. No public disciplinary measures have been announced, and similar complaints about inconsistency continue to surface in subsequent games. This situation extends beyond a single matchup. It touches on the foundation of competitive fairness. When coaches question calls, when players voice concerns, and when fans circulate video clips as evidence, the conversation shifts from isolated mistakes to broader trust issues. The WNBA now faces a pivotal moment. It can reinforce confidence by reviewing incidents openly, strengthening evaluation systems, and clearly communicating standards. Or it can allow skepticism to linger at a time when interest in the league has never been higher. Professional sports rely on credibility above all else. If spectators begin doubting whether outcomes are decided solely by performance, the damage can be lasting. The league's growth presents enormous opportunity, but maintaining faith in fair competition is essential to sustaining it. Ultimately, the responsibility lies with leadership to ensure transparency, accountability, and consistent enforcement of rules. The debate sparked by this game underscores how deeply fans care about the integrity of women's basketball. Now the focus shifts to how the league responds, and whether it can restore full confidence moving forward.